Everyone wants to be successful. You know that, I know that, but only the top 1% are actually successful and achieve the things that they really want in life. So what's different between me and them, or you and them? Well, I've made a list of 3 things which I think, if implemented correctly, can massively improve your entire life in 2023. Step number 1 is to have a goal. Without a goal, you're directionless. You don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, and you don't know what tasks to complete. It's best to have a short-term, a mid-term, and a long-term goal. Short-term being monthly to 2 monthly, mid-term being 6 to 12 monthly, and long-term being 1 to 5 years. For me, my short-term goal is to amass a certain amount of followers on Twitter, which would be 1,000 on my improvement movement and 1 to 200, hopefully 150 on my personal brand Twitter page. That's my goal before the end of February. Then my goal by the end of the year is to sign my first 5 clients via my personal development coaching program, my first one being before March the 9th. My long-term goal is to create a fully automated business. Whether that be in half a decade or a decade, I'm not bothered. I'm prepared to do the work for as long as it takes, and you should be too. Understanding that big goals and big things such as creating businesses or getting in shape are lifelong endeavors, really. They take a lot of time, a lot of consistency, and a lot of pain and struggle. But especially in this day and age, being able to look past the current moment and see something bigger down the horizon is an extremely important skill. So step number 1 is to have a goal, okay? Like I said, a short-term, mid-term, and long-term. But there's no point in having a goal if you don't have a plan that gets you to that goal. So for step number 2, we have a plan. So once you've created your goal, short, mid, and long-term goals, you need to formulate a plan of how you're going to bounce between the 3. How you're going to get from where you are now to your first goal to your second goal, to your third goal. So for me, like I said, my first goal, my short-term goal is to get 1,000 followers on Twitter. Okay, so how am I going to achieve that? My plan is that I post 3 times every day on both accounts, and I promote my tweets. I also do a lot of outreach. I do about 50 to 100 messages a day just to speak to people, to build up a kind of connection. I also comment on posts. So I post tweets, I comment on tweets, I share tweets, I message people. So those are the 4 things that I use on Twitter to help kind of grow my account and to help reach as many eyeballs as possible. So for you, for example, if it was your short-term goal is to go to the gym consistently for the next month, your mid-term goal is to gain 4 pounds, 5 pounds of muscle, and then your long-term goal is to be happy, healthy, and strong. You know what I mean? So you need to start formulating a plan. For example, week 1, slowly kind of ease yourself into working out. If you've never worked out before, you need to ease yourself into these things. Because for me, what I did at the very beginning was I started off with too much, and I kind of became overwhelmed. Basically, it was too much on my plate at once, and I wasn't able to do it to the best of my ability. So it's better to do less and do it well rather than do more and do it worse, if you see what I mean. So step 2 would be to formulate a plan, whether that be a weekly plan, a monthly plan, a yearly plan. But the best way that I formulate plans is I have a weekly schedule, and in that weekly schedule, every day I'll try and implement something in which takes me to my goal. So for example, I post tweets every day, I write scripts for videos every day, I do outreach every day, I work out every day, every other day, and things like that. Once kind of done on the daily, you will see improvements in these areas. But to improve in any area, or to kind of see progress in any area, you need to increase the volume. So for me, I was doing outreach, promoting my growth network, link in the description. I was only sending about 20 to 30 DMs a day on Twitter and some on Telegram, and obviously the 20-30 people that did see the DMs were like, no, and that kind of disheartened me a bit. But then after watching the god Alex Hormozy's video on sales and volume, I realized that I needed to times my volume by at least 10. So now I started sending 100 messages a day. I use Solid Inbox, which sends me 23 DMs a day, and then I do 100 of my own, kind of searching up keywords on Twitter. And then from that, I've been able to get more potential leads. I've been able to speak to newer people. I've been able to book a few calls in, and I've been able to get the word out about my growth network, which I'm then going to start promoting my personal development coaching. Plan is extremely important. Without a goal, you're directionless, and without a plan, you have no idea what to do. Those are the first 2 most important in my eyes. Having a goal that you can work towards, a plan which helps you get there, and then number 3 is the ability to execute the plan. So 1 and 2 are useless without number 3. This is why I said earlier that 3 is the most important in my eyes. Looking at the average person in my kind of age range or a couple years below me, I can see exactly why successful futures aren't really a thing. You know what I mean? I can see why the university system is absolutely booming, because everyone has the ideas and the ability to think they can do something and the ability to create a goal and a plan, but only the 1% have the ability ability to execute the plan, and not only execute the plan, but also execute the plan every day. Keep it consistent for X amount of years and not really be swayed by the negativity. So whatever you do, whatever you're building, you have to understand that it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. So for example, fitness. 2 years ago, I'd never really lifted a weight. And then, a little anecdote, I was actually just out, just smoking one day, just chilling with some friends. And then one of my good friends, Rudy, actually ran past me to go to the outdoor gym. I said, what's on, what's good, all that. And it really inspired me. I was kind of sat there with a few friends, just smoking, you know what I mean? Wasting time. It was a nice sunny day, but just wasting time, sat there smoking, sitting, whatever, eating crap food. And my man Rudy was out here doing aerial press-ups for fucking 3 hours straight on the bars outside. And moments like that kind of made me realise that it's all well and good wanting to do something, but until you do something, there's no point in even wanting to do it, if you know what I mean. So for so long, I'd wanted to get in shape, and all it kind of took was just a little subconscious kind of nudge from myself and from another individual, and then that kind of set me on towards the right direction. It was kind of like a self-assessment. Every so often, you need to do these. I think in a year, every half year, you need a self-assessment. Say, are these people I'm hanging out with, are they helping me? Are these people I'm being around with, are they bringing me down? Is where I'm at helping me? Am I doing the right things? All this sort of stuff. So back to the point, the ability to execute the plan is extremely overlooked. Everyone has good ideas. Everyone has the ability to complete these good ideas and execute them, but very few do. So why is that? So executing a plan is completely different to actually creating a plan. Creating a plan, there's nothing that can go wrong, really. You have a few ideas, a few options, you create the plan, start, finish. Plan's done. And your brain actually releases the same amount of hormones as to when you create the plan as to when you actually do the plan. So in a sense, creating the plan and talking about the plan makes your body feel like you're doing the plan. So I'm using the word plan quite often. Say for example, getting in shape is your goal, and you've created a plan. So now your body feels like they've achieved that. Okay, this is just scientific how hormones work, and your body thinks that they've achieved that level of fitness or that physique, and you know, because you can see that you haven't achieved that level of fitness or physique, but your body tricks you and your brain tricks you into believing that you have. So that's why when you talk about things, sometimes you lose motivation to do them and stuff like that. So executing a plan is completely different to actually planning a plan. You must understand when writing a plan that it's a lot easier than actually completing and executing the plan. See, when you write a plan, it kind of starts and finishes, but when you execute a plan, it's not that simple. Things go wrong, things turn out how you didn't expect, and a whole host of other things can go wrong. But understanding that whatever happens on the way is just an experience to learn, a roadblock, whatever. The best way to look at things that go wrong is an experience to learn or an experience to grow. In that sense, you're kind of training your brain to be more positive and to learn and grow from situations, which are extremely successful habits for anyone, especially the young generation. But realizing that things do go wrong and things don't go to plan, and that's just part of it. For me, I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur of some kind, and a year ago I didn't know what that was going to be doing, whether that was going to be reselling Trapstar clothes, which I tried for a bit, whether that be drop shipping, which I also tried for a bit, whether that be a website development agency, which I also tried for a bit. It took me about 4 or 5 different kind of business models, going through that process to find that kind of happy medium, finding something that I want to do, finding something that I'm passionate about, finding something that I can make money off, and finding something that I feel makes a positive change in the world. If you find something that encapsulates those 4 things, then you're winning, really. Just to summarize, so you need a goal, so you know where you need to go. You need a plan, so you know how to get there, and you need to execute the plan so that you get there. Although this may seem like very simple things, there's a really good quote which I heard the other day, and this is another Alex Hormozy quote. So, extraordinary accomplishments come from doing ordinary things for extraordinary periods of time. I'm not going to say it again. So if that went over your head, then that's part of it. But the point is basically that successful people do what unsuccessful people are willing to do. And I know this is 2 kind of quotes which are quite airy-fairy, but if you break them both down, you realize that to be successful, you need to do the basics. You kind of have the basic building blocks. You can't build a house kind of roof down. You need to start from the masonry, you need to start from the plumbing. Underneath, you need to do the electrics, you need to do the insulation and build it up slowly. You can't just put a roof on nothing and build the walls later. The point I'm trying to make is to understand that basic habits are kind of what take you to where you want to be. So without this goal, plan and execution around that in your daily life, you should be completing the positive habits. I would recommend The Slight Edge, a book by Jeff Olson. I recommend it to everyone. Here I am recommending it again, and I don't recommend it lightly. It's a book that most genuinely, truthfully changed my life for a positive. So I wish you all the success in 2023, and I want you to share down below what your goal is, what your plan is, and how you're going to execute that plan. If this video helped you, then just drop a like or subscribe. See you next time.